guys tonight. Before I introduce our speaker, I just want to make a few announcements. Next Wednesday, our design forum will be in 610, and Rushing Hayes will be doing a workshop on Adobe. So please bring your computers. And I'm going to be sending an email out about questions that you have in Adobe, and he's going to be doing the three main programs: Illustrator, InDesign, and Photoshop. So keep it to those three areas because there are many more, but that's what we're going to be overviewing next week. So please, I'll send an email out asking questions that you might want to answer, but he's going to be giving an overview on all three. Cool. All right, so let's begin. Brand Society is a creative marketing agency known for crafting bold, strategy-driven campaigns that connect brands with their audiences in meaningful ways. Combining storytelling, design, and data, Brand Society helps businesses build memorable identities. Gage Burke is a creative strategist and marketing professional at Brand Society. He's recognized for his innovative approach to brand development and his ability to translate ideas into impactful visual and digital experiences. His work reflects a deep understanding of culture, communication, and the evolving dynamics of modern marketing. Please welcome Gage Burke.
Hello, hello, hello. Test, test. Thank you, Daniela. I didn't know you were writing that. Much obliged. All right. My name is Gage Burke. Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming. I know this is all required, so appreciate that. I am not a keynote speaker yet. So this is the first time I've been invited to do anything like this, but by the end of it, maybe I will be able to say that I am. Probably not. Let's find out. All right. So I'm going to take you way, way, way back first. When I was 7 years old, I served my first detention. Yeah, the crime, creative block. My first grade art teacher gave us this assignment to tear up construction paper and put it together, make anything. I couldn't do anything. I stared at the paper all day long, probably to the point of tears. I was completely frozen and paralyzed. I was just completely blocked, couldn't come up with a single idea. I was visibly upset, but that didn't stop her. I'm not going to say her name. It didn't stop her from calling my parents and making me serve a detention until I created something. Eventually, under the pressure of it all, I finally created this masterpiece of a mustached park ranger here. And for the last 30 years, my dad has had it hanging in his office. This kind of reminds me that while I didn't know what to make that day, I eventually figured it out. I couldn't create on demand yet. I don't know how. Yet. That pause, it's the mindset shifts from I can't to I can't now, but that doesn't mean I can't ever. Maybe you don't know how to animate a logo. Maybe you don't know how to get that big job or pitch to a client yet. I've been honored to work on a boatload of brands in the 2 decades that I've been a designer. Today I'm just going to show you a few examples and share some tips and tricks I've picked up along the way. And I'm going to try and move pretty quickly because I'd love to hear about all of y'all and your roads ahead, your yet, and answer any questions you might have or worries you might have, things that keep you up at night. I'll take you back again to some of my earliest memories of creativity. I realized in preparing this talk that I had never really given much thought to my foundational, my upbringing. Where did this creativity come from? So this is my mom. That's Brenda. She's always been creative in this quiet, kind of understated way. She was never a working artist, but she loved making things and crafting, and she always encouraged my siblings and I to do the same. So she had this 1960s groovy patterned suitcase from her childhood. It was locked away down in the basement, and I would often ask her to break it out and let me rifle through her old things. It was full of old photos and yearbooks and handwritten notes. I loved her handwriting. I didn't get that gene. But what I love most were these sketches of horses that she had. I could tell with every stroke of the pencil that she really, really cared and loved deeply about horses, and she took so much time to get it perfect. And every time I looked through this case, I would want to draw. It would inspire me to start drawing. And I sucked. I'm still not great yet. Anyway, every time I would draw something, she'd say, "I'm getting better," and that kept that fire burning for me, even when it wasn't very good. That's what good mentors do. They see the spark before you do. And then my father was another great influence. He's over there on the right. He's really funny and kind, and he could figure most anything out, or he would at least try first before consulting the experts. His career was spent at the EPA, and he eventually got into desktop publishing in the Office of Research and Development. And for those of you who don't know what that means, it's like early graphic design, layout and everything like that. So sometimes he had to create brochures and booklets that translated really complex scientific topics to scientists and the public alike, something in a way that they could understand it. So fun fact, this cover picture right here was a stock photo that cost $600 in 1995. It was a lot different back then. But he was really proud to save taxpayers' money by using photos of me in his books. Anyway, I was really, really fortunate to be exposed to design at a young age, even though I didn't know what it was. It was all around me. And I got to use Adobe, or I don't even know if it was called Adobe, but I got to use PageMaker for my book reports back in the day. Quark, yeah, Quark. That would have been made in Quark. Feel blessed that you don't have to work in that program. In high school, there was this teacher, Mr. Klusman. He was impossible to miss. He had this great big white beard and long Moses hair, and he taught. He was one of the most grounded, optimistic people that I'd ever met. He taught community service and computer programming and the yearbook class that I ended up being encouraged to join. But what he really taught was possibility. He looked out for kids that felt invisible or without promise, and gave so many of us confidence and a reason to care about something. His catchphrase was, which I've carried to this day, make a great day. Not have a great day, make one. You have agency, it's your choice. And then my wife, Rachel, who's here with us tonight in the audience, she's shaped my career since we fell in love 19 years ago yesterday. Happy anniversary. Thank you, thank you. She is an idea person whose mind inspires me as much as her infectious personality. She's always built me up, and when I'm not feeling confident about something, or when I'm stuck, she makes me laugh when I'm down. She encouraged me so much, even this past week, as I struggle to figure out what I should talk to y'all about. Creativity isn't best served in a silo. You'll find that out. Hopefully you get to work together and collaborate now. More often it thrives when you have people who challenge you and support you and see things you can't, or have experiences that you don't have. Find your person or your people and collaborate. I want to expand on that just a second. I know I'm extremely blessed to have landed with my loving parents and wife, but I want you to look around this room and in this school and in this city and look at all of the creative minds that surround you already. Look to Daniela and Scott and your other amazing teachers you have, and connect with them. They're not just your teachers. Connect with them. They are here for you, and hopefully they'll be here for you your entire career. This place is buzzing with creativity. I know that, but don't ignore this network that you have right now. It's built into your school experience. You're paying for it, literally. Right now, the folks around you, these are your people. Who knows, you might work with them to create something incredible one day. So just keep that in mind, please. In these early years, say yes more. If you're unsure of something, how to do something, how to handle a task that you've never performed, just say yes. You're not faking it. I hate fake it till you make it. I hate that word. You're not faking it. You're going to figure it out. This college experience is teaching you how to think and solve problems through creativity. Say yes more. When you get older like me, then you're going to start saying no more. But trust me. But right now, do everything you can. When I was in college, I went to the University of Cincinnati, the DAP program. We had mandatory design co-ops, they called them, internships, every other semester. So every other semester between taking classes, the next semester, I have to get a job with a real world agency. So every semester, build a resume, build your portfolio up, apply, learn how to interview and sell yourself in these interviews to get the job at something that you've never done before. It was terrifying. There's always self-doubt. Let me tell you, that's never gonna go away. You will always have nerves, but I promise you it gets easier every time. It's part of it. I was just mentioning, I was lucky enough to learn from the old guard when I went to college. The professors that were kind of some of the foundations of graphic design in America. They knew nothing about computers, or very little. So we had to figure a lot of it out on our own, work together, collaborate. Eventually we had tutorials, blogs. When you guys were kids, there were the things called blogs. Anyway, right now you have all the knowledge in the world at your fingertips. Anything you need to know, a design problem you can't figure out, you can look it up. Now you have AI, you can ask ChatGPT. I don't know if you're allowed to use ChatGPT. Anyway, everything is possible. There's nothing you can't do. It sounds cliche, but that mindset alone is enough to take you as far as you want it to in this career. Several years after graduation, I had a pretty good book of work, decent anyway, bless you. I was able to talk about it, and it landed me a position in a team of really talented designers. Well, pause real quick, a pro tip. So when I interviewed for that job, there were 6 designers on my team I was going to be working with. And in addition to the bosses, I had to interview with all 6 of them at once. So a big round table of all of them grilling me. I made a mental note of something that each of them said, just to remember who they were. And then I actually hand-delivered the next day. I made handwritten notes and delivered them a note, thanking them for their time and either answering a question I couldn't answer in the interview, or just following up with something they said, just making it known that I was listening to them. You don't necessarily need to go the handwritten note these days, but it goes really far after an interview if you at least respond to the people you spoke with and say something specific about something interesting that you talked about, something that shows that you were really listening, that you care. Look them up. Anyway, I was hired to lead the packaging evolutions for Bounty paper towels. There it was again. I was just feeling like I was faking it. It was terrifying, again. But I asked questions, I learned from peers and leaders, I read books even, and eventually we figured it out, and we helped convince the clients to let us reinforce the quicker picker-upper as the iconic tagline and got it back on packs. So it used to be a jingle and everyone knew it, and it's back. But again, I was not a packaging designer yet. So this was the first time the tagline had been put on the package in something like 40 years. It was a big win for us. We knew the brand had so much equity in that line alone, but it kind of fallen away. They didn't even use it in advertising as much. Now it's front and center on the ads you see on your Hulu. This is a look at the whole architecture of all the different pack formats. How it shows up as a wall of green on shelves. And the addition of the tagline was one of those, like, why didn't we think of this sooner moments? So up top, it was the pack that started before we started our design evolution. They got a new simplified logo, as you can see here, and the rest of the pack needed to reflect that. We also changed the architecture and the way it's shopped, putting this size and the different format information up on the top, making it much easier and kind of a nicer, clean billboard effect across the shelves. So again, I wasn't a packaging designer when I started at Interbrand, but I quickly grew into the role and got to work on some of the most recognizable brands in the world. After a few years, Rach and I, we were ready for a new adventure. So we took a wild leap. We quit our jobs, sold our house, and moved to our favorite place on earth, New Orleans, from Cincinnati. We figured, why should we keep saving our money and visiting once or twice a year when we could just be in our favorite place all the time? We went from the Queen City to the Crescent City, and from Houday to Houdat, real quick. After a year of strictly freelancing, we decided we wanted to stay, for real. So I wanted to buy a house, and I couldn't be a freelancer anymore and get a house at that point. I needed proof that I could do it. I needed a full-time job. So someone I had worked with mentioned my name to Mike Rainey at Brand Society, my boss, executive creative director, and he reached out on LinkedIn. The rest is history. Do you guys know what LinkedIn is? Do you have to use it? Do you all have a LinkedIn? Everybody? Cool, good. This next part is not as important then. When I interviewed at Brand Society, it wasn't my portfolio, which was pretty decent, or the list of brands that I worked on that sealed the deal. Mike told me it was because he was able to read directly from my clients and colleagues over the years exactly what kind of person and creative that I was. It's obviously, it's like your public digital resume. You can connect with me if you'd like. Spend some time on it. This is your history, your future as well. The recommendations feature, though, doesn't get enough credit, I don't think. So another pro tip, try to make a point of requesting a few sentences from everyone you work with. All of your clients, your colleagues, people that know you and what it's like to work with you. It's like a Yelp review from those who know your capabilities best. Mike didn't need to check my references. Their testimonials were out there for the world to see. It's just a simple little thing. And then, pay it back. Respond, write a few things, what it's like to work with them. Build that network. These go back to when I was your age. So get on LinkedIn, connect with me, tell me how crappy my presentation is. Just kidding. All right, so I work for Brand Society, like Danielle mentioned. I'm gonna do a quick shout out about that. I'm humbled by the fact that I get to work alongside local advertising legends. and the young creative powerhouses on my team. Beyond their inspiring and unique talents, they're just good people. We hire good people, and we don't really take on clients unless they're good people. Plus, we partner with great local freelancers and production houses like Fire in the Bayou, PG Creates, Fat Happy Media, Tempt Films, and even one of your adjunct professors, Rushing Hayes. Can I come next week, by the way? Yeah, I'll be here. Rushing's great. He helps us out when we're in a bind. So from new businesses to 100-year-old brands, traditional advertising to full-blown identities, the variety keeps our lives, my life, interesting. Restaurants, beers, hot sauce, jewelry, king cakes, hospitals, coffees, sporting events, law firms, food banks, tourism, construction, education, and many more industries. It's wild, and it's so much more than just paper towels. So the best part, though, is that most of them are all right here in New Orleans, perhaps the most culturally rich city in America. I'm going to share just some quick examples, and then open up the floor for questions. Hopefully you guys have some questions. And then Daniela wanted me to show you my crazy sketchbook, too, afterwards, if you want. All right, so Blue Runner. Brand Society has been working with Blue Runner since the agency opened 13 years ago. This was a campaign that was born from the struggles we all faced during the pandemic. For centuries, eating red beans and rice on Monday has been a tradition in the New Orleans and throughout Louisiana. And the connection between our food and music heritage has been central to our diverse and treasured cultural fabric. My boss loves billboards. I get to see my work all over town. It's a lot of fun. Musicians and chefs alike suffered through COVID-19, experiencing the blues themselves, and were unable to get gigs or customers. So keeping our local chefs and artists in the spotlight and on the same stage was vital to reinforcing our ongoing way of life. The iconic red bean is at the heart and soul of it all. And the best red beans happen to be blue, too. So this television spot that resulted from this strategy was rooted in the music of New Orleans. We hired local actors and Preservation Hall musicians to perform in a production that still gives us goosebumps to this day. I don't know if we can lower lights just a little bit more, possibly. No, that's okay. There we go. That's great. Perfect. Thank you. All right.
There's the meaning of life, and then there's the meaning of life in Louisiana. It all simmers down to one thing, really: the red bean. What is it that makes it so special? Aren't they magic beans? How can something so small be so huge? And if that mystery isn't enough, turns out the best red beans are blue. Go figure. Blue Runner, good for your heart and your soul.
So that was one of my first ad campaigns that I've ever worked on in my whole life. Again, I was packaging, branding mostly. I was terrifying. And a fun fact, it was the lead singer of Queens of the Stone Age, this old band. That was his condo in the CBD that we rented. We get to be stewards of this brand, all their advertising, their packaging, and overall brand guidelines. One of the best things about working at Brand Society is most of our clients we've had since the beginning and will continue to keep. We put them first. It's a big responsibility. This is an example of a page from the brand guidelines. I'm a nerd for brand guidelines. If you ever come across one, save it, put it in your hard drive, save it, refer to it. It's incredible to see what other designers do and how they think and the rules that they make, and they can help influence you. So just breaking apart the packaging architecture is especially something that is dear to me. And then this is, standard logos, sizing, clear space. It's just a little snippet I wanted to show. This is the new simmer sauce pouch that we'll be releasing soon. It's really important that the new format is still clearly a Blue Runner product. Our food truck was actually at Gretna Fest last weekend, dishing out free samples of those fricassee and sauce piquante samples in the new simmer sauce line, and people were obsessed with it, so that's working. And then if you get a chance, check out the Blue Runner website. It's something I'm really proud of. I'm not a web designer. I'm not a UX person at all. Russian helps. But the website's really nice, and I feel like it captures kind of the heart and soul of the brand. Last year, we were asked to do brand new in-store displays for Blue Runner. Rather than just updating the graphics, we kind of pushed them to consider something more meaningful. With existing footage from the Roots of Music, we were able to merge that jazzy campaign you just saw with another charitable initiative, something more meaningful to the community of New Orleans, feeding the future of our young musicians with each Blue Runner purchase. So this is that little spot.
Blue Runner red beans may be small, but when they can be used to plant the seeds of inspiration for young musicians in New Orleans, well, that's huge. Right now, when you buy any Blue Runner product, you'll be supporting the roots of music. Put New Orleans culture on the front burner. Eat for the beat. Blue Runner, good for your heart and your soul.
So I'm not really an editor yet, but I was just talking to Scott about this. I learned After Effects a little bit in college and use it here and there throughout my career. This is one of those instances where I literally had to relearn it, reteach myself, look up tutorials. How do I do this? How do I do that? Again, this is something, another lesson that you can just figure anything out. You have the capability to do that. This is one of the digital ads that came out, kind of just a look at the whole campaign, merging Blue Runner, but really highlighting the Roots of Music, giving them the spotlight. Shelf talkers were in stores for a while. I don't know if they still are. And end cap displays. We did all kinds of stuff. I'm showing a few of them. This is the floor decals and display ads, digital display ads. You guys tell me if this does not fit the UX guidelines that we should do. And then we created this kind of web landing page where people could also donate and learn more about the program. And then our efforts have raised more than $50,000 for the Roots of Music so far. So it's really special to me. People can choose, or see exactly what $1,000 is going to get you 6 trumpets for these kids. It's pretty special, and I think it's going to be a long-term relationship. All right, so in late October 2023, we were invited to participate in an RFP for initiative through New Orleans and Company, who, by the way, if you don't know who New Orleans and Company is, they care more about this city than most places do. We would have less than a month to strategically develop an overarching brand for the city of New Orleans and their tourism campaign to encourage leisure travel as well as business meetings and conventions. The following is the final results and some snippets of the style guide. Again, I love brand standards. So I'm going to read this. The core truth that came from all our discoveries: visitors to New Orleans want to immerse themselves in our culture and experience all that is unique and remarkable about this city as if they were locals. The core insight: while we're not going to deny that New Orleans is somewhat of a fairy tale city, the amazing thing about us is we're real. New Orleans needs no embellishment, no exaggeration, no tricky special effects. The magic of this city is in our authentic desire to involve and embrace all who come here. And then finally, the brand strategy. We want to portray New Orleans as the original influencer of everything, establishing this town as the OG of amazing and extraordinary, not to mention creativity. Messages will show what we mean by built to host. They will invite guests to feel ownership of this town themselves, deep down, reinforcing New Orleans' unending desire to embrace all and involving them in our stories today. We make them feel that now it's their town too. So beyond all of that, the biggest idea I wanted people who have never been here before or people that have is to see the visuals and the brand and think, wow, I miss that place. I miss that food. I miss those smells. I miss everything about it. The sounds of the calliope. So in our initial pitch, we use this device. It's kind of a window to frame our headlines around the subject of our compositions. So this first one, I make horns howl and stomachs growl, relating to the culinary. This particular layout is something that immediately screams New Orleans. You see that, you don't think Chicago. This layout was used in the Palm Desert Food and Wine Festival before we even released our brand. So that's Drakkar, and the photo was by James Collier. And the next, I make your feet move and your heart stand still. So kind of intertwining the scene, the feeling of a night out dancing on Frenchmen. This and the rest of the photos come from the actual TV shoot, but they were shot by Justin Williams, a great local photographer. I'm inside the country and outside the imagination. Where else can you do all of this? Once you visit me, you're part of me, which is true. We want people to come here and influence this city. Before America, there was me, her cool big sister, New Orleans. So we're family friendly too. I am jam sessions and history lessons, talking about our music and our cultural museums and opportunities to spend times with your family. My time doesn't stand still here, it dances. Another arts and cultural traditions. Once you visit me, you're part of me. And I am artistic expression and history lessons. So for around 200 years, New Orleans has been known as the Crescent City, thanks in part to its geographic location, hugging the bend of the Mississippi. The crescent moon is unique and ownable as a symbolic representation. NOLA.com, the Crescent City Classic, even the NOPD, there's a whole bunch of brands and companies that use the crescent moon in their logos down here, but none of them use the waxing crescent, going the other way. It's logical in design that you read left to right, so most things, that would feel weird, uncomfortable even. So while the waning crescent represents a time of reflection as the moon phase leads to darker nights ahead, the waxing crescent is more referred to as the rebuilding phase, symbolizing growth, intention, hope, and re-emerging with new energy for a brighter future. You've got more light ahead of you in the next, couple weeks. This is it. This is our primary mark for New Orleans. Go to neworleans.com. It features that waxing crescent. The space to the left of it, the viewer's eye completes it by the arc of the edge of the W. We kept the N capitalized to make sure that you're seeing, or reinforcing that is an O for someone that might not understand. It seems really simple, and that's perfect. So obvious. It gets that, why didn't I think of that response again? More brand guide. This is spacing, padding. When in doubt, always add more. More white space, more breathing room. They're getting better at that, but always add more. This is the stack version, as you can see it down on Jackson Square, for compositions that require it. I personally think it's a little less legible without the W completing it to the left for that implied O, but still, it's beautiful and it's ours. Naming colors in a relevant way is something I have a lot of fun with, and that the companies end up really using, rather than a Pantone color or CMYK breakdown. Spend a little time and pick something relevant. Pick colors that actually mean something to the city. Make it mulberry instead of purple, brass instead of yellow, the light blue. It's haint the color of your ceiling of your porch. Before we were even finished with the full brand, we had to do the French Quarter Fest stage on Jackson Square. The one they chose was A, but this was just to kind of show how all these colors that we chose can work together with different levels of contrast and legibility. They did that this year as well. That was the final artwork, and then seeing it on stage. The first big reveal of the logo. And finally, I want to show you the campaign videos. Again, there's two of them. They feature the music of Galactic and the sage voice of Tank from Tank and the Bangas. And again, we wanted to capture those little vignettes of what someone might experience as they visit New Orleans or even live here. This one is called I Excite.
I excite, I unite, I flaunt, I haunt. I make stomachs growl and horns howl. I make your feet move and your heart stand still. I am New Orleans. I put your worries to bed and keep you up at night. I'm your town deep down. Come see me at neworleans.com.
No other city can do that. And this one is called I Am Cypress Knees.
I am cypress knees, balconies, oak trees, harmony. I am jam sessions, history lessons, artistic expression, the occasional confession. I am New Orleans. I'm your town deep down. Come see me at neworleans.com.
All right. Yet happens. There's no denying it. This profession can be extremely stressful, but with the right balance of pressure and motivation, magic can happen. Not magic, yet happens. All your leaps, your stretches, your first grade detentions, the friends hanging out and collaborating with you, telling you your design is crap. All these experiences, they come together and make you a sharpened instrument of creation. After almost 6 years, I can now say that I'm an ad man and a packaging man and a brand man. I wear a lot of hats, and you probably will too. Finally, why New Orleans? There's this idea that you guys have to go to LA or New York or Chicago, any of these big cities to start your career in design. It's just not true. If you want to try an agency position first, we have quite a few really great ones like Brand Society in New Orleans. We have hundreds of businesses, bands, individuals in need of hungry creatives like you. Remember, say yes often and start figuring out what lights your fire. The city is full of problems, we know, that need creative solutions. We don't just need artists, the city needs problem solvers. That's all of you. Stay, create here, and say yes to New Orleans. So I'm gonna recap real quick with some final tips and thoughts. Connect with other creatives, remember your roots, say yes more often. Present 1 to 3 options, not 15. We can talk about that in a minute. Work on your LinkedIn, learn about AI. Try to work in person. I know COVID changed things for all of us. It's still, it's still so much better to be in person, to have that body language bouncing back and forth with someone that you're working with. The ideas flow differently in person than through Zoom. When in doubt, use more white space. Don't work for free. Make friends with the IT person. They will control everything. Master the pen tool in Illustrator. Trust me, this one is a must. Touch grass and get some nature. Did she look? She didn't tell me to say that. It is a must. Always use contracts if you're going to freelance. Always spell check and spell check again and again and again. Do not put something out there. If I get a resume with a spelling error, I'm not going to respond. It's just spell check, please. Say yes to New Orleans. Stay curious. Stay enthusiastic. Figure it out and make it a great day. All right. That's it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's up? Oh, okay. Because of pen tool?
We have some questions, though. I'm sure we do. So we'll start with some questions, yeah?
Lay it on me. What you got?
When rebranding a company or package, how do you create something new or refresh without taking completely from the original? Like, how do you kind of separate, I guess, the old version from the new version?
So the question is, when rebranding, how do you separate the old from the new? Well, it depends if they want it or not, or if they need it. Some brands don't need a full brand new mark or look. It might do better with just an evolution. For example, Bounty. I wouldn't do something completely different that people aren't going to recognize. There's equity in that logo. People have been shopping it for years. I'm not going to switch it up and change everything. An example, one of the very first projects I worked on at Brand Society, before I moved down here, someone redesigned French Market Coffee's logo. It was a beautiful logo, beautiful pack, but no one could find it anymore. They didn't recognize it. So we had to pull it back and use what was originally on there. It's a kind of a matter of what they need and what people already know. Individual, case-by-case basis. Good question, thank you. Up there.
What would you say like the main differences are between working on a more local scale versus like a wider, maybe more national scale in terms of like needs and expectations and process, as well as like work environment or things like that?
So question was working local, thank you, or on a more national scale, and the needs for different, or for each of them. Local is, honestly, a lot of these brands here are much, much smaller. And what I love about it is it's a little more creative freedom. Things aren't quite as nailed down, and we can experiment a little bit and push the brands a little bit in different directions that make sense. But on a grander scale, one of our clients is Moe's Barbecue. They've got 50-something locations around the country. We can't just go in and change everything, or even change little things without it affecting how the brand is working as a whole. So it's a little bit more constricting, but it's also fun in a way, because you have to try and outsmart it a little bit. You have to try and figure out what you can do to move the needle forward, to increase their sales or whatever it is they're doing, without shaking it too much. You have to be creative. You have to really think, and it's not always fun, but it is definitely more rewarding when you find something, find some truth that's going to change everything without changing that much. Thank you.
If you were interviewing someone, what would be something that they did that would really impress you, make them, or make you call them for a second interview?
Great question. If I were interviewing someone, what would inspire me to call them back? Something exciting. I think the number one thing I would want to see is enthusiasm and curiosity. I know it's scary when you go into an interview and you don't know what to ask, you don't know what to say, you're nervous, and I think if you can get past that and try and actually ask some questions and just be clear that you're eager to learn. That's what I want. I don't want someone fresh out of school that's perfect, that can do my job already. I want someone that's ready to learn and willing to learn and eager to follow direction, follow my lead, and grow. I think that's the most important part. And again, follow up after an interview and thank them and tell them how meaningful that conversation was to you, and me, of course. Okay, thank you.
Can you go back to what you said? No, not like actually. When you said percent fewer options, you said you were going to expand on that.
Oh yeah, good. All right. So I pulled this out of the presentation because it's not like the most proud work that I've done, but I left it in the appendix anyway, and I'm glad I did because Danielle was talking about sketches and stuff like that. So one of my favorite parts of the design process is the exploration phase. Once you've done all of your research and you've juiced the client for all the information that they can give you, what they need, what they want, then you start exploring as many options as you can. I'll just start here though. This is a mind map. It's crazy. This was for a law firm, a freelance job I took before I moved down to New Orleans. But that was the exploration initially. I work really well in words first, even though I don't speak them that well. Rough sketches. Do as many as you can. You do 100 or so, if it calls for it, and then you bring the best ones to the table. My problem back then, I showed all of the options to the client. And what that did is it kind of started treating the client as if they were the designer, like they should be making the design decisions. That's when you start getting logos that are Frankenstein together. Take a little bit of this one, mix it with that one. No, you're the designer. You're going to distill down all of your ideas into the very best ones, maybe 3 max. I never worked that way, really. I wanted to prove that I I was doing all this work behind the scenes. I was really taking it as far as I could. They're getting their money's worth. They weren't. It could have been done faster. It could have been done more clearly. Get it down to 3 options max. This is pretty close to where we ended up with this law firm logo. Really, really simple look. Like, it was one of the first options. I don't know if it's on here. It's similar to that. But yeah, just don't overload your client. They're the client. You're the designer. You help them with the right ones.
So, what do you recommend showing? Like 3 to 5 very different options?
It depends on the project, really, or the client. I'd say 3 is a good max. Your teachers may request more for what they're doing, but honestly, these days, I've probably done maybe 4 or 5 logos this year. I just show them one option. And I walk them through the entire process of how I got to it and why it is bulletproof. You can't shoot a hole in it because any question that you have for me, I have an answer for. But get to 3. A lot of clients want to see at least a couple options, and then later on you'll be able to, really hone that skill. Thank you. Great question.
But just to clarify, you're not just working on one. You're doing all of this, and you're narrowing it down
That's right.
to the best one.
That's right. Narrowing it down to the best
Best one.
one.
And for all the reasons that you ask yourself of what the client.
Exactly. It's got to check all the boxes, all of their needs. It's got to be memorable. It's got to be unique. Like you said, like no one else can do this. No one else can have that New Orleans art with the crescent. We are the Crescent City. It's ours. Who else? What you got?
Kind of to build off that, how do you pick like the best ones? Like how do you choose which ones to show? Especially if like you don't know which direction you want to go?
This will go back to the collaboration too. So I would pick what's working for me. When I worked at Interbrand, we would hang them all up on the wall, and the whole team, we would have different colored dots. We would all pick which ones are the best, and then we would talk about them and discuss. Don't design in a silo if you can. If it's a freelance project and it's just you, reach out to your mentors, reach out to your teachers, people that you trust with design that can help you. Reach out to me. Like, look to other people. Don't just think that you know the answer, unless you do. Maybe you do. Maybe you've got it, right? But when you know, you know. That's not a good answer. Anyone else? Good.
How do you know when you're making it like better or taking the brand identity away?
I'll show you that thing I was talking about before. So this is the original, right? And I can't remember exactly how long the logo had been there. I'm talking about the oval. But it was very recognizable. And this badge, very cool, very modern, but it lost the feeling. It lost the tradition. It lost the New Orleans of it. That could literally be in any city. So you kind of have to look through the lens of who's going to be looking at it, who's going to be shopping for it, as well as the client themselves, the company themselves. So we took that. We took that mark off completely, and then created a system pretty close to what they had, right? Pretty close, just a little bit more meaningful. I guess some companies like research. or require research even. You have to put it out in front of the consumers and have them pick what's working, why it's working, let them react to it. You guys saw the Cracker Barrel thing that blew up, right? So that's an example of maybe, I think it was blown a little bit out of proportion, but maybe it lost too much of its soul. That's something that you have to be really careful about when you're affecting a brand, especially something that's as established as that, or established as this. Thank you. Thanks.
How quickly do you usually move from the sketching phase into the visual side?
How quickly do I move from the sketching phase to the visuals? Let's see. I personally am, like I said, not a great sketcher yet. So I tend to, if I feel like one of these is rock solid, I will keep pushing maybe 10, 15 more, but if I keep thinking about that one, I'm gonna stop, and I'm gonna bring that to the Mac. I'm gonna bring that to Illustrator, and see if it's worth pursuing. It's different for every project. Again, bad answer, but I try to really get as many sketches out as I can, even though I'm not the best at it. That way you've exhausted every option. You've exhausted everything, every direction that you could possibly take it, and then kind of see where it goes from there. Thank you. Is that a good enough question or answer? Okay. Thanks. Go ahead again.
When you're a new designer, is it better to try to sell yourself as like really good at a specialty, or show more variation with different types of work?
I would. Okay. So the question is, as a new designer, is it better to sell yourself as a specialty, a niche, a specific type of design, or to have a little bit more variety? So I guess the answer to that is it depends on where you're applying. If I'm going to a packaging firm, I'm going to show kind of things specific to that firm, things that would interest them. Even if it's not packaging, I'm going to show them things that relate to that kind of problem solving, or more about composition. Now, if you want to be a freelance designer and you say you're a really great illustrator, have this awesome style, by all means, go all in on that style, that niche. That's how you can get picked up by a Nike or someone that sees your work out on the grounds or something. Like, do you first. But if you want to go at a specific agency, if you want to get hired at Brand Society, I probably prefer that you just show your top 5 things that you're proud of. I know you're right out of school, so what are those top 5 projects in your portfolio? And then talk about all of them in depth, even if they're different. I want to know that you thought through the design and understand why and how you got to where you got. Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, go ahead again.
I'm kind of piggybacking on the sketching towards more digital. Like, I want to know like the entire timeline. How long does it take you to do like an entire analysis? You don't have to go too in depth, but yeah.
How long does it take to go through the whole timeline of a brand, rebrand?
Or like making a brand.
Making a brand. This is a scary thing. So this was my initial timeline for that full rebrand project of the law firm, and it was more than just a rebrand. It was all of their assets that came with it. So that's not a great example. And it was all spaced out in a way that I could keep some sanity. I was all by myself working on this. But the I would say you should be able to do pretty much a full brand process, assuming you have nothing else to do, which is very rare, in a month or so. And that's a lot of time, it is. But when clients ask for something in 2 weeks, they're not going to get your best. They're not going to get all of your exploration, all of your thinking that you can give it. It's too fast. And we can do it. It's just not. It's not going to be as good as it could be. You know. Right.
Do you get research data to look through before you make your designs?
Do you get research data before we make a design? And that absolutely depends on the client. Some require it, some don't. Working for Procter & Gamble, tons and tons and tons of research before we could even touch a design. They have a lot of strategy built into it. And a lot of our smaller agencies down here, every now and then we'll get asked to do something using user research. It's all dependent on the project, case by case basis. And it's not, absolutely, if it's possible and in the budget, definitely go with it. Definitely use it. See what happens. See what they say. But it's not always going to be bulletproof. There's always going to be someone that hates that hates the old man on the Cracker Barrel logo and always has. And you got to kind of take things with a grain of salt and just understand what's best for the brand and always think about that. Go ahead.
For the Roots of Music and Blue Runner ad campaign, did you make any other like merchandising options besides the packaging or billboards or anything? Like were there shirts?
No, not yet. Anyway, I mean that's a great idea. Did we make shirts or anything else for the Roots of Music? This is really primarily just a charitable way for Blue Runner to help out this company. I would love, or I'm sorry, not company, this organization. I would love to just work for them and make some great stuff. That's something I would have to do on my own time, you know. But again, while we made these layouts and everything, and there's Blue Runner up there, it's about the organization. It looks good that we are donating $50,000 to the organization, but it's not what it's about. It's about the good that it's doing. And I would love to redesign their logo if I can. But it's it's probably not something that they're gonna let me do.
Is that something that you might, like, maybe not for this example, but for other packaging of thinking about other merchandise that you can create based off of your packaging?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, one of the if you have time and budget, you should absolutely explore every single option or opportunity to contribute to a brand if possible. Do merch, do hats, do swag. If I had a little more time, I was going to make something for y'all for coming to this tonight. But next time, if I come back. It's for a brand, Crystal, for example. I don't know if I have any. Show some Crystal. All this stuff, getting the brand out there it's the way. You just have to be seen. People have a cult following to this brand. They get it tattooed on them. I I guess Roots in Music could benefit from that too. Yeah, I think anyone could. Daniel?
Do you have an internship program? Do y'all take interns? Do the internship program?
We don't have an internship program per se. I absolutely would love to hire an intern if it's something that fits within our schedule and our timelines. I've brought it up since I've been at Brand Society almost 6 years now. If it's something that we can make work, we absolutely will. At Interbrand, I was in charge of hiring all the co-ops or interns and managing them, and it was rewarding for me as much as it was for them. And I would love to head up if possible. And y'all, if you can, I don't know if it's mandatory. Is it mandatory? Go intern. Do it. It's probably the most important thing you can do while you're in school is to get some real world experience beyond just freelancing, beyond what you're learning in the classroom, and continue to build your network that way. Anyone else? All right. Thanks so much. I have well, thanks to some crazy sketches is very for you.
I wanted you to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to bring up the QR code. I want you to talk a little bit about that while I bring up the QR code. Talk a little bit.
Y'all, we know sketchbook, we tell you all the time how important it is, and sometimes I think maybe you roll your eyes or you're just annoyed that it's just another thing, but it really is important. And he brought his sketchbook to show the notes that he took for this, but then he showed all his digital sketches in there, and I just thought he could share it with you if you want to come see it or not. And I'm also going to bring the QR code up so you can do the roll. Yes. Thank you. Y'all can come ask some questions one-on-one if you want to.